Hey, my friends, welcome back to another episode of Fuck Fine, the podcast where we believe in living unapologetically and on our own terms, where our motto is, it is your life, therefore your rules. I am your host, Kari Hurd. If you are a regular listener, thank you. If you're new, welcome. Um, Side note, before we dive into the meat of this episode, I don't know about you, but Mercury right now being in the microwave has me feeling all kinds of things and experiencing all kinds of like I'm feeling some kind of way about lots of things right now. So if you're feeling that, that is why. And also, I see you, and we're gonna be fine. We're gonna make it through. Okay. All right. So let's dive in. I used to be so proud of how much I could carry and juggle all at the same time. Like especially as a single mom, it was a badge of honor for me to be like, look at all the things I can do. Um, until I started to realize more recently than I'd care to admit that a lot of what I was trying to carry wasn't even mine. Um, just burdens and responsibilities and things like that weren't mine to carry. And I've been watching others around me who right now are carrying so much of their own. And I realized just how heavy some of those burdens were and what like the heaviness of the burden I was putting on myself by insisting on doing it all and doing it all by myself, right? I'm going to do this and I'm going to do it myself. I rarely ask for help, which I think is very common for women. I think that's probably another episode that we'll get into that later. But I muscled through everything. I think, again, a lot of us do that, right? We don't say no, we don't ask for help because, at least for me, I thought that being a useful, helpful human meant that I had value, right? If I was taking on someone else's burden, that showed my value. Or if I was carrying it all by myself, I was showing how strong I was. And I think that so often we do pick up because we're caring and because we're nurturing and helpful human beings, we carry so many burdens and responsibilities, right? We've got our families and our kids and our work responsibilities and all the things. We've got friends to those relationships to nurture and just all of it. And we stay busy and we take it all on and say, look what I can do. So, this episode is for you if you're kind of tired of carrying a lot of those burdens that aren't yours. If you're tired of being busy and you want to kind of start feeling aligned, because I think that distinction for me was the biggest leap in going from really burned out to feeling peace even in some of the chaos, right? Now, I know you're thinking, like, I am too deep into this and like making some of those shifts probably feels really big and scary and overwhelming and impossible. I see you, but I promise by the end of the episode, you're going to see how just small shifts and small choices can create huge impact for you in creating that alignment and that peacefulness and that less frantic craziness that you're craving. Okay. And then just really quick at the end of the episode, if you're wanting a little help, kind of like you go, yes, this is for me, but I need like, where do I start? Um, I am going to tell you how you can get your hands on the free sampler of the journal that I've created. It has been my lifeline for the past 7 years. I literally started to create it 7 years ago. I refined it. It is my lifeline. The freebie that you would get includes the 5 prompts that I use every single day. Every single day. And they keep me focused on my goals, my dreams, my desires, my alignment. So stay tuned. We'll get to that at the end. All right. So busy and aligned. They seem like they don't go along. Um, and when I say that, when I talk about like what's the difference between being busy and being aligned, I'm guessing that you're sort of creating an image of your head. And I know for me, I used to think that being aligned just simply meant sort of this very zen, quiet, calm, peaceful, om sort of situation, right? Um, and while alignment certainly can include that, it can certainly include rest. It should include rest. It should include some quiet. You can find alignment inside of your busy. Okay. Um, Case in point, today, as I'm recording this, I am wicked busy. I've got a load of laundry going. I've got some meal prep going on. I've got all kinds of things going on, but I am feeling super aligned and like just in flow. And you can have that. You can have some of the busyness without the chaos and the franticness, right? Um, so being busy, let's start there. Being busy, when I say that, my guess is like when I talk about being busy, sometimes like your stomach tightens up a little bit. You're visualizing in your head like what that looks like, right? And it feels very frantic, scattered, chaotic. Um, Sometimes it can feel productive, right? But productive in like this empty sort of way, right? You're doing, but still not feeling done, if that makes sense. Um, Busyness and doing a lot is rooted in a sense of obligation or fear or letting others down. There's some sort of external validation in that, right? I need to do this because I'm supposed to, right? I'm supposed to keep my house clean. I'm supposed to do this. I'm afraid, like whether you say you're afraid, there's this underlying fear of not being good enough, someone being angry with you or whatever, right? Or like letting somebody down. Some sort of external validation is where it comes from. That's what you're seeking. That's why we keep ourselves busy. We're looking for that external validation. Being busy, doing all the things, keeps us focused on things like checking off boxes, pleasing others, avoiding stillness. We're going to talk about that because you say you want stillness, but you also avoid it. I see you. Um, right? Where it's this, and I did this. I used to make checklists for the purpose of going after the fact to go back and check the boxes. I still do it a little bit, but it's more for mental clarity now, right? But there's this idea of if I check all the boxes, I will be good enough, right? If I have a clean house, check. If my kids are happy, healthy, and cared for, check. If this happens, check. If I'm successful at work, check. Whatever, right? So there's checking boxes, making sure that everybody else is taken care of, and again, avoiding stillness. You just wait, okay? Being busy, as you well know, this is not breaking news, it leads to resentment and burnout. And often, I bet you find yourself asking, why am I even fucking doing this? Right? Why am I doing this? Busy is doing what you think you're supposed to in order to feel accomplished or accepted or acceptable, both, right? And it costs you your peace. You're going to do whatever you have to do to please somebody else for that external validation, even if it means you sacrifice your peace. So, what is being aligned then? If it's not Zen, right? It feels more intentional. There's more clarity. It feels clear. It's quieter, not necessarily stillness, but it's a quieter sort of slow burn, for lack of a better way to say it. It's more meaningful. Like I said today, there's a lot happening as I'm recording this, but it's all very meaningful for me. Even the freaking laundry, which I normally hate doing. there's purpose and intention behind it for me today. Um, it's rooted in alignment is rooted in this idea of your values and your clarity and your inner truth, right? So it's rooted in what serves you well, what brings you happiness and joy and all of the things people always say they want to feel, right? It focuses on that, right? And rather than focusing on that external validation, it focuses on what matters to you, how you want to feel, and the idea that the choices you're making reflect all of that. Okay. You're making choices, intentional choices to create the feelings in which you want to live. And rather than that burnout and that resentment, it leads to things like fulfillment and ease. It improves our trust in ourselves, um, even if it's a little uncomfortable at first, which it is. Okay. Alignment is when your choices match your values, not your conditioning. Hear that. Alignment is when your choices match your values, not your conditioning. Okay? The core difference between them. Busy is about pace. Alignment is about purpose. Busy is about pace. Alignment is about purpose. One runs on urgency. The other flows from clarity. Okay, just let that simmer a little bit, right? When I think of being in flow, so to speak, I, it, it's almost like I visualize this river where it's constantly moving in a direction. Some spots, even though they're still flowing in the same direction, some spots flow more calmly and others more quickly, right? But it's all flowing together. So that quickly, those like the rapids, right? Those can be the busy times, but still be part of your flow. And then there's also that sense of calm afterwards, right? Like I know today, again, busyness right now, but it's all aligned. And so then later, when I do have a moment to be calm, I can be present in that. And it's all sort of working together. Okay. So listen, I know you have a shit ton going on every single day. I know this. I know this. Um, you've got chores and errands and things that need to be done to keep your house moving and in order. That happens, right? Like I said, I'm doing laundry. If you have kids, all of those tasks are multiplied. Plus, you have like a million more that get added, right? You've got sports and activities and friends and all of that. At work, you got sort of this constant, this, that, the other. It's constant. And then I know you also have the extra things. Don't forget about all the extra things you sort of volunteer for, social engagements you agree to, all that kind of stuff. So I get it. All of those things are happening and it's a lot. And it often feels hard to say no to any of it, right? Your kid's class needs a room parent and you want to stay involved with your kid and you want to be helpful to the teacher. So, yeah, sure, I can take that on. Um, your boss maybe ask you to do take on an additional project. And it's going to be quite a bit more work, but you want to be a team player, right? You want to be a team player. And in your mind, you're thinking, well, this could be good for my career. This is a great opportunity. So you agree. Mm-hmm. You agree. I know. Or Aunt Susie's birthday party. She's going to be 87 next weekend. 87, so she might not have many more. And I know, oh, she would really, really, really love to see the kids. So even though you have 3 sporting events next weekend and a house project that's starting the week after that you have to get ready for, you'll be there. It'll be fine. We'll divide and conquer. We'll figure it out. We'll be there. Or this one, you have a free weekend. It is rare. It is a unicorn, I know. You have the opportunity right now to sit, to be still, to rest, to recoup. And yet you start thinking, you know what? I have the weekend free. I think we should clean out the garage while we've got time because we don't have a lot of time to do it. We need to do it now. Or maybe this would be a good weekend to clean out everybody's closet or squeeze in that family road trip, right? We're going to get quality time in the car with everybody because it's our only free weekend between now and the holidays or whatever. You're frantically trying to do it all, my friend. And I get it. I see you. I've been there. But let's start you on here. Quick little activity or exercise that you can do to start moving towards alignment. Okay. When you're in those moments, when you're feeling frantic, you're starting to feel the chaos, right? Because I know you feel it. I know what it feels like. Ask yourself these questions. Okay. Full disclosure, they're a little big. They might take you a minute to think about, right? You might not be able to come up with the answers yet, but at least asking these of yourself. And again, whether you are a journaler or not, or just sort of asking and ruminating on it, they at least ignite your curiosity and give you a moment to pause and reflect. Okay. So, question number one: what parts of your day are based on obligation rather, or habit, not intention? Where are you kind of going on autopilot? And I know your answer is going to be everywhere. I know that. That's okay. Again, just pause and reflect, like really. Okay. Laundry is not an obligation for me today. I would like to get it done because I would like to have some clean clothes. Okay. So, what parts of your day are based on obligation or habit, not intention? Where are you on autopilot? Because a lot of times, those places that you're not even thinking about are where there's sort of energetic leaks, if you will. Those are areas where there's opportunity to say, ooh, that's on autopilot. Does that really serve me? Like that would be a follow-up question, right? If you're on autopilot, is it serving you? Because maybe you're just doing it because it's easy because it's how you've always done it. That could be no fault, no shame, but an opportunity to just start exploring what parts of your day you don't give a lot of thought to that maybe you could. Because then the follow-up question is, are there other ways that I can accomplish the same end goal that are more aligned with me and my life? Right? For example, you want to see Aunt Susie, right? Because it might be her last birthday party. And I get that. You want to spend time with her. Is there another time when you don't have three sporting events that you could maybe take her dinner and visit? Because she'd probably like that better anyway. Are there different routines that you can put into your day today that feel more aligned and still get the same things finished? That and by getting the things finished, I mean the things that are important to you. Okay? Are there other ways to accomplish those and meet those goals that are more in alignment for you? I know, like I said, I know this all feels big and scary. Um, Start with small choices, small things. They're way less scary and they're easier to repeat and create consistency, right? We know this. It's easier to start small, get consistent, and then grow. So how do you start small with all of this? It's really simple. You say no to one thing. Someone invites you to happy hour. You're not quite feeling it. Thank you so much for the offer. I'm not really up for it this week, but let's try another time. Done. Or or thank you so much. We're wicked busy this week at our house. Can we go next week when I don't have as much on my calendar? It's that simple. Just one thing. I guarantee they're probably not going to be mad at you. And if they are, let them kick rock. So, one small no. That's it. Kid wants to go to a friend's house. Mom, can you drive me? Not right now. Here are your options. I can drive you at this time, or you'll have to find another ride. Done. You're not saying they can't go. You're just saying you're not available to take them. That's all. One small no. Another way that you can start small, choosing rest over functioning. For the love of God, if you have that rare weekend free with nothing planned, rest. I said what I said. If you have a partner that you can lean on, try and divide and conquer so that you can rest and that they can rest. I watch my sister and her husband do this beautifully. They don't have roles or jobs. They both do it all. And there's this sort of seamless trade off that happens as it's needed, right? He's busy doing XYZ, and so then she's taking on this responsibility and vice versa. But they're taking that time to help and support each other. Um, or my new favorite strategy, because I don't have a partner, and I know there are people out there listening that maybe have a partner who is a little less willing to do that. My new favorite strategy, you can decide. Are you ready? The laundry doesn't have to get done today. It doesn't. Or instead of doing that deep clean on your home this weekend, because like, oh, I haven't cleaned in like 2 or 3 weeks and I really need to do this deep clean. Do you? Why? Because you want it clean or because it should be clean? Sometimes I do a deep clean because I want it to be clean. Sometimes it's okay to say, you know what? I need to rest. So I'm going to kind of do a quick little what's over and call it good enough. You can do that, right? You can do that. Address the things that need to be addressed, the ones that are actually causing you stress. Like for me, kitchen sink being full of dishes drives me crazy. I have to do it. Floor, I don't know, I'll mop it next week maybe. I don't know. That doesn't cause me stress. Give a little sweep, we're done, right? No one else is going to know or care. Nobody cares. Do you care? Do you care if your bestie goes and deep cleans her house tomorrow? You don't care. Probably don't even know. So let go of the things. Stop over functioning. Stop doing because you're supposed to and just let the rest happen. Let it happen. You don't have to go on the family road trip to have quality family time. You guys can rest together. I know that sounds crazy, but you can. Okay? You can rest together. It doesn't have to be busy. Alignment doesn't have to be about overhauling everything. You don't have to sit down and make some kind of plan. You don't have to ditch all of the hustle completely and like go live like a hermit in the woods to sort of find alignment. Alignment isn't just about stillness, right? Yes, I'm talking about rest, and that's important. It's not just the stillness factor, though. It's about creating patterns of truth for and with yourself. One small decision at a time. How do I feel about this? Be honest. Someone asks you to do whatever the thing is they're asking you to do. Does it excite you? Or does dread and panic just immediately set in? You feel everything just tighten up and you go, oh, man, I don't know if I want to do this, right? You start, oh my God, panic, right? And a lot of times there's a combination of the two. You're like, ooh, that sounds like fun. but also, oh my God. And it's like this weird combo of panic and excitement. What parts excite you? And are there alternatives or options for tapping into that in a different way? Again, happy hour. Your friend says, hey, let's meet for a drink after work. I can't today because this, that, this. Okay, find an alternative. Find another day. Do brunch on Sunday. I don't know. There are alternatives to create the things that are in alignment for you that don't have to induce panic and chaos and busyness. Okay? Quick grounding practice for you, then, my friend. Here's how you get there, right? This is how you sort of start to create that inner gauge for yourself. Okay? You're going to choose a handful of core values. I would say no more than 5 for sure. 1, 2, 3, that should suffice, at least to start. Okay? You can grow this list later. Core values to use as a filter for your choices. Okay? And I'm going to tell you a quick story about how I got to mine. When I kind of started journaling and meditating and all of that, one of the first meditations I did was this visualization kind of thing. And at the end of it, he had us create a mantra based on what we envisioned. And it wasn't about the things, it was about how we felt inside of the vision. And mine that came out was, I am living a simple and effortless life full of joy, abundance, and love. And that became my filter. That's where I started. That became my filter. So journal, meditate, do whatever you need to do to find those core values. And I'm not talking, and maybe it's quality time with your family, but I'm not talking the values that we kind of give lip service to. I'm talking about like what really is important to you. Is peace important to you? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Whatever it is. So create that list of, like I said, 1, 5 max. 1 to 3 is probably sufficient of core values. If you're able to put it in a mantra, I can tell you it kind of keeps it easier. It makes it easier to keep it at the forefront of your mind because then you can just kind of say it, right? I just say it on repeat. Or write them on your bathroom mirror with a dry erase marker or whatever. Keep them front and center somehow. And then those become your lens, your filter when you're in decision moments and you need to like choose. Am I going to do this or am I not? Is this going to be good for me or is it not? Because then the question becomes, does this meet one of my core values? Is this going to bring me peace? Is this going to create simplicity? Or is it actually going to make it more challenging? I don't know, whatever. Okay. The next step, then you sort of have this filter and you're going about your life and then you're in that moment, right? The question, the invitation, the request has been made. Your boss just asked you, your friend just asked you, somebody approached you and invited you to something. And the panic sets in. Oh my God, what do I say? Right? All that. Pause. Pause, my friend. I don't care if it's a 30-second pause. I don't care if you need a week to pause, but you pause. And I'm going to tell you that pausing is probably the hardest part, but you need to take a beat in order to make an aligned decision. You have to give yourself, your brain, your soul, you have to give yourself time to really consider what it is they're asking of you and how it aligns or doesn't with your values, right? So it is absolutely okay. And here's how I would respond because, like I said, this is the hardest part, right? We feel like we have to give them an answer. They're inviting you to something, whatever, tomorrow. Ooh, ugh. Wow, my friend, that sounds wonderful. I want to be intentional and check that I can give this my full energy before I say yes. So I will get back to you. Word it how you want. Don't be apologetic about it though. Oh, is it okay if I get back to you or blah, blah, blah? Just state it. I know that's the hardest part. I know. You gotta be brave. You gotta be brave. Like I said, I don't care how you word it. I'm going to say it again. find the verbiage that works for you, but something to the effect of, that sounds amazing. I need to be intentional and check that I can really give my full energy to that. So I need a minute before I say yes. That's it. If they start to pressure you, which usually more happens in a workplace environment, but we all have friends that also do that. If they start to pressure you, A, that's a red flag on the play. And B, and use that information, right, as you're making the decision. Wow, if I'm feeling pressured in the moment right now, how am I going to feel later? So use that as an opportunity. But then also, yep, I completely understand this is time sensitive. Like I said, I just want to take just a minute to kind of think it all the way through. Done. Okay. So then once you're in that pause, right, you've sort of decided, I'm going to pause. Questions you can ask yourself while you're in the pause. And I will try to remember to put these in the show notes. I always forget, but I'll try to remember. Before you commit to anything, does this honor the values I say that I want? That is the most important one, right? Aunt Susie's birthday party, maybe time with your family, right? And you said that that was important, but is it quality time with your family? The road trip, again, might be lots of time, quantity time, but is it quality time? Or is it going to be additional stress? So just honoring those values that you say you want, because how you get them, like how you achieve those goals, those values, how you honor them, it doesn't have to look how you think it's supposed to look. Okay. Question number 2, am I choosing from fear or from clarity? Again, that request from your boss comes in. Are you choosing to accept it because you're afraid of potential consequences, like maybe not getting fired, but like, oh, maybe I'll get overlooked for a promotion. Maybe I won't get some experience. Maybe they'll think I'm not a team player. That's fear. Or do you really think it, oh, this will really help my career? Like, yep, it's going to be a lot, but I think I can do this, right? There's a certainty in that, a clarity in it, and you'll know you just haven't been listening. So we're taking that pause to be able to listen, right? And then the last question, will this nourish me, or is it going to be something else that is draining? More isn't always draining though. So just consider that. Yes, it's one more thing on your plate, but that's not always draining. You have to really think about, again, just going back to that first question of like, does this meet my values, right? That extra project at work, if it genuinely aligns with what you're trying to create for yourself, it might be more, but it won't feel like it, if that makes sense. Okay. And my biggest personal example, I just want to really quick share with you about taking a pause. 7 years ago, I jumped into the online space. I created my business. I struggled in it for a long time because I didn't have that clarity. I didn't know what part of my life it wasn't really aligned to anything. I took a year-long pause. I closed it down. I took a year-long pause. And now, a year later, I'm starting from scratch because I now have the clarity and alignment. Now, not every decision will take you a year, but I'm saying sometimes you have to make the difficult decision to step away from something to have that pause and to make that decision. But again, it all goes back to what aligns for you. I use the pause all the time now in everyday situations. Friends ask me to go out. I had some friends a few weeks ago that invited me to go out on their boat this coming week. My initial response was, oh, it's a weeknight. I don't wanna, right? And I'm kind of a homebody. So I was like, oh, I don't want to. And they're not friends I see often. So it's not like I felt obligated. And I was really sort of like, I don't know. And then I remembered that right now I am in a season where What is aligned for me is connecting to other people. And I was like, well, that's an amazing opportunity to connect with other people. So I'm going, right? So it works both ways. um, you don't need a master plan, though, my friend. You just need moments of honesty with yourself, moments of pause to investigate how this aligns with what's next for you or with your values that you have. Okay. So give yourself permission. Listen, it's going to be uncomfortable as fuck. Just period. It is. Okay. Especially if this is new for you. Some people aren't going to like that you have boundaries. That's going to be hard. Doesn't mean your boundaries are wrong. If you don't want to go out for happy hour at all because you've decided you're going to be sober and happy hour just right now isn't a vibe you want to be around, that's your choice. They don't get to decide that for you. They don't get to decide your boundaries. Your boundaries are your boundaries. They're not wrong. They're yours. So stick to them. It can be hard to sit in stillness. We've talked about that already, right? Just letting yourself, and not even just in that season of rest or that moment of rest, but just the stillness of the pause, the stillness of choosing. That can be super uncomfortable because we find ourselves sort of grappling back and forth. You have to really get quiet, listen to your gut. It's not always easy. And then being honest with yourself is always hard because we see things and we uncover things that we know that we don't really like, maybe, right? So just be honest with yourself, or we uncover things that make us uncomfortable. It's not easy, but that's why I said you don't need a master plan. This isn't something you have to go like revamp everything and start fresh. You don't have to do anything other than start in small moments. Pause to reflect and consider. Just start today. What's one decision today, whenever you're listening to this, what's one decision that could move you a step closer to alignment? Just one. Maybe it's something as simple as picking up fast food for your family so that you just don't have to go home and cook tonight. Maybe. I don't know. One small decision. Just today. And then this week, right? Experiment. This isn't going to be perfect. There's no right or wrong, and it's ever evolving. The values that I was aligned with when I created that mantra, like, yes, they're still important to me, but I have some other ones that are now sort of more important. And that's the thing too. Your values can change. Not that the old ones have to go away, but just like things can shift, right? Peace and abundance and joy and love, those things are all still important to me. But I have some other things that are maybe right now more important. Let that shift happen as well, right? That's where, like, experiment. This isn't a perfect process. You're human. It's okay. It's going to be different. Okay? We unpacked a lot today, and I hope you found it valuable. Quick reminder: busy is about pace and pressure, alignment is about purpose and clarity. It's not about doing less, it's not about getting rid of everything and like I said, living as a hermit in the woods. It's not about that. It's about making choices that truly honor what matters to you. Okay? Remember, alignment, and it doesn't involve this big overhaul. It's just small. Saying no when something drains you. Pausing before you say yes to things. Checking in on how you really want to feel. Like, just it's this constant check in with yourself. Is really all it is. We don't pause enough to check in with ourselves. How am I feeling about this? Why does this drain me? It's just checking in. Write about it in a journal. Don't write about it. Ruminate on it. I don't care. Check in with yourself. That's it. Check in with yourself. If this episode sparked something for you, I'm going to invite you to go grab my free journal prompt sampler. It's filled with the 5 questions that I ask myself every single day to get clearer on your values to help you if that part is a challenge for you and how to live more intentionally. Okay. I will again. I'm terrible at remembering to put it in the show notes. I'm gonna try. If I forget, message me. I'll send it to you. Um, Thank you so much for spending time with me today. Mm, this is I'm celebrating you and your aligned life, one intentional choice at a time. I will see you in the next episode.